Where there's hope, there is ripe grounds for exploitation. Don't let these people play in your face, okay? I'm stepping into my most savage energy yet this year, and I'm not even saying that in a tongue-in-cheek way anymore. Like, I used to take joy in saying that, oh, let's be savage, you know? It was a fun, empowering way to pump ourselves up as like modern young women just trying to survive in this big bad world. But now I feel like, okay, joke's over, fun time's over. I'm not playing with like whoever is coming up to me and trying me in the real world, okay? Whether it's people at my work or certain organizations that I'm part of, or even certain new, friend groups, networking groups that I might decide to, pop my head in once in a while to see what is available in certain rooms. Oh my goodness, Lexi. I feel like she just bit her tail or something. But I'm not playing with people. Like, I'm not playing nice anymore. The minute I sense any type of weird energy, or like weird could mean anything, right? Predatory, secretly jealous, like giving me backhanded compliments or trying to sell me something, that's a huge thing I notice. So people who try to sell me something straight off the bat, whether it's overtly or insidiously by pretending to try and be my friend first, but then after 3 business days, they hit me with the, hey babe, and try to get me to join their MLM or some shit. Like, they are really, truly at the top of my shit list this year, and I'm not dealing with it at all. Like, I will literally ghost people or just leave them on red with no explanation. I'm not being nice or polite, because you weren't nice or polite when you came to me thinking that you could prey on me as a young looking, vulnerable girl who lives single and alone. Like, how disgusting. Okay, yeah, I know you guys are like, whoa, Ren, what is this energy? This is the energy of the fire horse year, 2026. I'm trying to tell you, like, don't let these people play in your face, okay? I'm minding the business that keeps me paid. You are doing enough, okay? Stop beating yourself up. Stop thinking that, oh, I'm not doing enough, I should pick up more hours, or I should be doing more. No, you are doing more than enough. And it's just the economy that's effed up, okay? And you guys know, well, actually, you wouldn't know unless you're one of the few tuned in people, because they suppress this kind of news. Like, I can guarantee that nobody in Japan has heard of anything related to, we'll say, the e-files, so that I don't get demonetized and pulled out of the algorithm and whatnot. But yeah, I don't think anyone in Japan cares or knows about the e-files. But with the release of all of them, or most of them, last week, is just further confirmation to me that, like, why should I be a good person? You know what I mean? Like, why should I? And I'm not saying that I want to be a bad person. Like, I don't want to steal or harm anyone, obviously, but why should I be a good person in the way that society has prescribed the script for us? Like, why should I care? Why should I give 100% to a job that's not even paying me enough to, like, live comfortably from day to day? Like, the earthly comforts that brighten my mood every day. God forbid a girl wants to buy a $5 coffee or a $5 latte. God forbid a girl wants to take a few trips to Dubai or Thailand or wherever I want to go next on my list every year. God forbid a girl wants to buy some higher quality cat food for her cat. God forbid a girl wants to buy some new clothes once in a while. Sorry, I'm not trying to be pessimistic, but it's just like I'm at a very disillusioned state. So yeah, the e-files, it kind of confirms like what we knew all along about the elites that are in power. I don't really think I have much to add to the discussion. And like, I actually think it's, okay, I'm torn about the e-files, right? Because I do think that it's very necessary for, TikTok and social media creators, basically, to report on it, because the traditional news media is working overtime to suppress it. Even ChatGPT, because I asked ChatGPT to summarize what did Bill Gates do in the e-files, right? Because I'm not going to read through those things on my own. My mental health is already fragile enough these days. And, one of the first hallmarks of self-love is taking care of yourself and prioritizing your mental health, right? Above whatever else might be going on in the world. So I'm not going to read the files by myself because that would just make me even more depressed and nihilistic about the world. But like, I asked ChatGPT one day to tell me what the file said about Bill Gates, and it refused to give me the answer. It was like, oh, there was just rumors, but nothing has been confirmed. And I was like, oh, okay, so yeah, okay, so AI is also, the people who created AI, the tech billionaires, they're also all over those files. So that makes sense that their creations would also want to suppress the truth, obviously. So then, like, naturally, I turned to TikTok, and it's just all sorts of heinous stuff, as you know. I'm torn because I feel like it's necessary and it is a noble effort that a lot of people are out here in the trenches, like trying to sound the alarm, trying to mobilize people and saying that this is unacceptable. Like, we cannot just let them remain silent on this. We cannot let them sweep this under the rug, them being the people in power, the powers that be, right? But then at the same time, I'm like, I know the way that the internet works. I know that social media all hinges upon it's an attention economy, basically. So it's kind of like the way I feel towards true crime too. Like, how much of it is your dedication to really, see that justice is served in some form, amplify the voices of the victims? How much of it is that, and how much of it is the creator themselves just grifting on another level and like using this hot topic of the e-files to further increase their watch time, increase their viewership and their followers? And the sad part is that it's always going to be like a mixture of the two, right? From now on, moving forward. Like, we are in the trenches, okay? The third or fourth generation of content creators already at this point. So you cannot separate content creation from the fact that people who do this full time, this is their livelihood. There's no such thing as like a truly unbiased or a truly, grassroots driven news channel, unless you're talking about one of those rare creators that has a huge reach, but they refuse to monetize their work, which, hats off to those people. I commend them, because it couldn't be me, because I can't afford to do that. Like, I need to make money strategically with every step that I take at this point. But there's people out there, there are people, like a far few, who have considerable influence who refuse to monetize their channels. So in their cases, I would say, okay, maybe they can claim that they have a pure interest in just getting the information out there and educating people. But the ones that monetize their content, anytime someone talks about a course, and I'm not even excluding myself from this, but even if they have like sponsorships, right, I automatically feel like, okay, so that means that you depend on your content going viral and gaining more views so that you can eat and put food on your table, which there's nothing wrong with. But having that knowledge, it just automatically lets me know that, oh, okay, but that means that you're not 100% like trustworthy to me, though, as an unbiased source. You know what I mean? I don't know if I want to get into a rant about this, but I think there's a huge trend of like licensed professionals in certain fields starting certain YouTube channels. I'm sorry, this could just be a me thing, but automatic distrust from me.
Right to jail, right away. No trial, no nothing.
So I'm talking about like doctors, anyone who's a doctor or a lawyer or a psychiatrist, highly trained professionals that have to have some sort of license to practice in their field. And they start a YouTube channel based on the expertise that they already have in a certain field. I'm not saying it's impossible for them to like purely have the intention of, well, I just want to reach more people, so that's why I started my channel. But in almost every single case, I would say like 99 out of 100 cases of all the doctors and lawyers and whatever on this platform, I feel like they're grifters at the end of the day. Because I feel like, okay, so you already are in a high-paying, highly specialized position, and some of them very sensitive, right? Like, I don't understand how like some of these doctors and lawyers and people are able to do the content that they do without violating some sort of policies within their field, honestly. But somehow I'm sure they understand all the legal loopholes to get away with it. And I feel like, yeah, they're just grifting at the end of the day. Like, most people on the internet are just grifting. That's the conclusion that I came to. So in a nutshell, everything is an MLM. Most people are grifters. Everyone is a prostitute under capitalism. Where do we go from here? Like, that's what I want to know. I don't know. I'm stumped, okay? I don't have the answers. I'm just a girl, like, literally. So people are shocked and appalled by what's happening in the files, but I I'm not, because, I've been watching this YouTuber, Canadian Chinese professor. His channel is called Predictive History, and his name is Professor Zhang. So he teaches like private school international students at a high school in China, I believe, and his lectures are all in English. So they're rapidly gaining popularity on YouTube. I don't know, maybe some of you have even watched some of his lectures, but they are like mind-blowingly good. And he basically, okay, I smudged this eyeliner. He basically goes through the entirety of the history of all of human civilization. And he really, really dives deep and gives like extremely good and well-rounded context and theoretical, what's the word I'm looking for? Like theories about how societies work and the cyclical nature of human civilization. How empires rise and fall. It always kind of happens in the same pattern, or like anything that rises has to eventually fall, which is why, our history professors or our history teachers in school always warned us that it was really important for us to study history because history repeats itself. So if you learn history, you will start to see the patterns that have played out over and over again throughout human history, and you'll basically be able to anticipate what's coming next, regardless of whatever point in history you yourself happen to be in, right? And I think a lot of people, they either dismiss it because they're too young to know better, or I think the underlying issue is that people are actually scared to look at patterns and predict the future, right? Because his channel is called Predictive History, so it's a very apt name. Like, you use the events of the past to predict into the past and the future ad infinitum in both directions, right? Because time is just a human construct after all. So, but I think, most people are actually scared because they know if they were to actually take a good look at the patterns of what happens over and over again, what has happened in human civilization that we have documented evidence of, they would probably not like the answer that they got. So sometimes it's better or it seems easier in the moment to believe in your own delusion that everything's going to work out. And it's not to say that it won't, it's not to say that everything is doomed, but if it is though, I don't know, would you rather bury your head in the sand, or would you rather just take the truth for what it is and decide that, well, if everything is going to go to hell in a handbasket anyway, I might as well go down dancing, right? The truth will set you free. After you face the truth, it is from that point onwards that you get to truly have the freedom to decide what you want to do with the rest of your time. And not only that, you are aware of the limits of your actual autonomy after you face and admit the truth and the reality of the world and of life. The fact that, let's just take an example. I'm not a Nepo baby, right? I wasn't born into a rich family. I don't have particularly powerful connections in my family or my network professionally. But I also know that it could have been a lot worse, right? I'm not complaining about my station in life or the cards that I was dealt. Could I have done probably a better job? Yeah, if I was better informed at earlier points in my life, which I wasn't. But, maybe even if I was informed, even if a guardian angel appeared in front of me in 3D form and started shouting at me, I don't know that I would have had the wherewithal to listen and apply that advice anyway when I was 22, 23. So all things considered, I fucked up a lot, but I was always able to bounce back, right? And that's not the case for a lot of people in the world. So I realized that, okay, so this is proof that I do have some level of privilege, right? I'm not at the level of, the millionaires and the billionaires, the Nepo babies, the ones that they don't have to worry about finding a job after graduation because they can just become the CEO or the next in charge of their dad's billion-dollar company. I'm nowhere near that class. But I'll always be able to get by, right? I'll always be able to find a job, or even in COVID times or unprecedented times with the economy and inflation and whatnot, I will always somehow manage to get by. I will always make more than, anyone in, let's say, a third world country could ever hope to make as their yearly salary. Statistically speaking, right? I'm not going to, never say never, but statistically speaking, it's unlikely that I'll be able to jump class, so to speak, to the millionaire or the billionaire class. And it's like, of course, we can get into the details of that looks very different for men versus women. And this is why hypergamy content took off so much during the past 5 years, I would say, is because, like, for girls in particular, we know that there is kind of, in a way, a shortcut, you could say, for women, because we always have the option of marrying wealthy, right? It's been done before. It's been documented. And there are those women amongst us today in modern day society that manage to marry way above, their starting social class. So looking at that, you can see there's no wonder that hypergamy content has become so popular over the past 5 years, and it's become like $1 million business in and of itself, because that dream, the selling of a dream that, hey, it doesn't matter if you were born in the ghetto or from a third world country, as long as you're pretty, right? As long as you are agreeable and pretty and you can mold yourself into a high value man's dream girl, dream woman, then that's your ticket out of the life that you were initially dealt. So this is a very seductive idea, obviously, for many young, hopeful women across the world. And where there's hope in a capitalist system, there is ripe grounds for exploitation by people who know how to turn other people's desperation into wealth and riches for themselves. It is actually a form of alchemy. That is one thing that you have to concede. It is alchemy. It is a skill. Morally speaking, questionable, yes. But hey, many people have done it and they continue to get praised for it in today's society, at least under the capitalist system. And you know the reason for that. It's because money is actually the god that people pray to and try to appease under capitalism.